I'm just glad I'm black. I don't know if there was one thing in particular that would make me feel that, but I mean, I was born black. I'm proud to be black.
Eunice and John Johnson wanted to ensure that our story was preserved, heard, that our story was told. Working together in the midst of a strong marriage, they founded Johnson Publications in the 1940s. Over the years, Ebony and Jet magazine have been two of the major outlets for telling our story. Stories of love, family, success, education, and our collective dreams and
I
histories.
came here to go to school. Well, I was also motivated, really seriously, coming to America. Because as a child growing up, I read a lot of the Jet books and Ebony books, and I had decided that when I come to America, I want to be part of the movement, whether it was considered a movement, advocating for really people who have been um, discriminated against.
My father was a construction worker, so I worked with him for many years. I deemed it was necessary to extend my skills. So I came to the U.S. to further my
I
skills.
moved to the United States to achieve the American dream.
A little different compared to coming from the South, but it wasn't a major adjustment, and I guess that's because I was so young.
That'd be my mom, you know. I really would not be the person I am today without having someone like her, you know, pushing me. I was definitely blessed in having a strong woman, making sure that she always provided the best that she could. That was in her means.
Grandmother, because I guess I was with her most of the time, and like most grandmothers, I guess she didn't go far in education, but she always put a word of wisdom or a positive thought in our minds, and she always said, try to be the best that you could be. And she raised 16 children. Well, no, she raised 13 children. So therefore, she was, I guess, one of the most influential people in my life.
She was the most influential person, period, because every summer I would go to North Carolina and spend the summer there in North Carolina. And I would either stay with her or with my aunts just for the whole summer, and Granny was the one that got everybody to church. So for me, going to Sunday school during the summer, that was big for me, because when I got older, I remembered a lot of those stories in Sunday school is what I remember now.
My mother taught me some wonderful things about the church. And sometimes when I look back and I reflect a little bit, I see that where she was leading me and guiding me, I was actually doing acts of service.
And a man loves his family. A man dies for them, takes care of them.
When I came, the church was basically white. There was just a few black folks in the congregation. So seeing that transition take place from then to now and seeing how we are now, that's quite a change over the years, over 40-something years.
This Lenox Road Baptist Church has been a tower of strength and a port of relief for some of the hurts that I experienced back in my country.
When I came here, I saw the love of God in the people here.
And there were really tension because some of the white folks didn't want to turn over the keys, so to speak, to the black folks who were now, having great leadership role within the community and within the church. And so they still wanted to hold on, and therefore we had separation.
One of the biggest challenges I faced while living in the United States, racism. If you go to the restaurant, they would direct you, where most black people is.
For one, when I stepped into a room and they saw that I was black, let's say in Penn State, and from Brooklyn, New York, they'd expect me to act a certain way, dress a certain way, and respond or speak a certain way. And when they realize that, whoa, this is a different kid or a different person from the whole group, so to speak, I I guess it kind of intimidated them a little bit. Or, in some respects, some welcomed it with open arms.
As a colored person from a Caribbean state, sometimes I hear comments like, why don't you go back to your country where you're from? And were never directly at me, but when you hear those comments within your circles, you realize that you can sometimes be affected by it.
I think I was skipped over for promotion. I'm gonna say I believe it was because of the color of my skin. It was myself and another young lady, and I feel the only difference between us was the color of my skin.
You're a black man, you come accustomed to being accosted by cops just because you're black. When you walk from, one day I was walking from the laundromat with a big bag of laundry on my shoulders and this straight up harass. Where you going? What's in? Take off. Open your jacket. So what's in your pockets? Like you see this big bag of laundry.
I could not find a job in my field in the early 70s or late 70s. Even though white students who came up with me from my field of studies were able to find employment, I could not.
Boy, I must say, the kids were not that kind towards my accent, so to speak, or towards certain things that I grew up, doing. Let's say, for instance, I must be blunt, like homework,
Because back where I'm from, teachers are part of the community and they become family. You see them when you go to church, you see them when you go shopping. So that was an experience in dealing with that I had to really redefine what education is and understand what I need to do collaboratively too. Not putting the parents down as though they're silly, but helping. So I ended up being one would say a parent of the children and a parent of the parents.
I tell my kids they were blessings from God and they are gifted. And because of their giftedness, as they gain their educational knowledge, that they need to impart it and share it with others while they use it to sustain themselves.
Stay in school. Get your education because you'll be judged for other things, but they can never, and I was always like, they can never take your education away from you once you have it. So go as far as you can go. Get your education, get your degree, whatever it is, and just proceed from there.
Go for your education too. In this day and age, that's something that is definitely crucial. Because your mind or what's here is nothing that no one can take away from you. You can take away clothes on your back, but what's in your mind is yours to keep for sure.
The civil rights movement really was prevalent, and you had community groups who were having teaching sessions to teach you about what was going on with the civil rights and what we as young people need to do.
The first elected black president of the United States, the 44th to be exact, at 48 years old, him and his wife, Michelle, and their two children, Sasha. And what made it so remembrant for me in his first term is that we here at Lenox dedicate our church in his first term, which was June 2009.
The greatest experience or most interesting was being a part of the Washington March. Realizing that even though we live in a diverse society and there are certain freedoms that you enjoy, you realize that that march in Washington, the first time that Dr. King initiated, was not only for Americans, but all black people of color who really want to be free or want to hear of the freedom that other people experience. First, be yourself. Be who you are supposed to be. Be respectful and try your best to help others along the way, because you're not alone in this community.
Your dreams and never give up, Don't let whatever someone says to you lead you
As
astray.
you get education, it's important to not enslave yourself and your mind, to liberate not only you, to liberate people, liberate your people, look at the injustice, and be an advocate, a fierce advocate for people who need you the most.
Walk with a head up and say, this is who I am. I'm not the N-word or B-word. I'm a child of God. And change our language, change what we speak, how we treat
I
each
would
other.
tell that young person to put God first, and everything they want will fall in place.
We could go on and on. The full has never been told. Telling our story now and to the generations to come.